Chicago Defender, or whatever in the hell else. You can't name a single place that he's gone that is in better shape after he showed up than it was before he got there. He spent a whole bunch of time bootlicking and sitting behind the scenes and hoping that somebody would give him a major league gig. That's all. But he hasn't built anything. But what he's done is he's done a very good job of convincing white corporations that he's got the ear of black people. At least until the last few years he did. The wheels began to come off the wagon in the last few years. When the conversation became about the new black media, when Kamala Harris went down in flames trying to be president, they realized, 2016 wasn't a fluke. The people aren't listening to the geriatric, ebony jet, newsstand, Tom Joyner, old radio audience. The old radio figures, they're not listening to them anymore. The audience is listening to us over here in the new black media. They're listening to a new crop of black independent personalities, independent journalists, independent investigators. You'll remember that when Ferguson happened, I didn't just sit there on my laurels looking around stupid and crazy. I said, let's do something about this. And I made news because I said, okay, we're going to go look at the campaign finance records of the city council in Ferguson. You really want to do something, get people up out of here, but you don't know what you're going to get out of there if you don't know what they got, what funding they have. Then when you went to the websites and took a look at how much they had spent, I'll be damned. Basically, it was the price of a used car you could buy cash. In some cases, it was $10,000, $6,000. Some of them was not, they didn't spend anything at all. And when we brought that news to light, and my man Tim he went up there. He was in Missouri. We networked. He went up there to Missouri on his own dime. Well, he lives in Missouri at the time. But he went there to Ferguson on his own dime because they said they weren't going to give us the records. They didn't want to give us the records for the mayor. So we would have to, because they didn't put that online. We'd have to come and get it. So he went and got it. You didn't see that anywhere else. For those of you who want to look it up on my Twitter, you can. We went and got the campaign finance records. So you could see exactly what it was. They didn't get elected for millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands. $10,000, you can be the damn mayor of Ferguson and oversee the killing of black people with impunity. $10,000. We brought that to light. Next thing you know, you're flipping over whole city council seats. Next thing you know, Bob Madonna is out. And they replaced him with a bootlicking Negro. But the old black media didn't do any of this. Roland Martin never covered any of this. The Griot never said any of this. It fell to me sitting here on Twitter to bring this to the masses. Because the old black media would not do it. And the reason they won't do it is because Bob McDonnell was a Democrat. And many of these people in these cities where they gun down black people and sit up and say, oh, well, they're Democrats. Your president right now, old-time segregationist, Democrat. Roland Martin is beholden to them, and gladly so, by the way. He is not the least bit resentful of it. He is very glad to do their bidding. Very glad to do their bidding. He considers himself to be Stephen from Django Unchained. He considers himself to be the smart one. So he's very happy to do their bidding. But the problem is that doesn't work for the masses. The problem is him sitting up here shamelessly begging for Kamala Harris to come on his program so he can make it look like he's got mainstream legitimacy, trying and failing, by the way. That's got to be an ego buster. The old black media has had decades to demonstrate they have anything to do for black people. So when you take a look here and you see the Root and the Griot speaking against reparations or trying to water it down or dilute it, they're either trying to dismiss it or dilute it. Who the hell do you think that's coming from? There's nowhere in America where you're going to have a favorable audience speaking against reparations. And yet Your old black media is there doing it. Roland Martin, remember, he was against reparations. He was against it before he was for it. Everybody who was insisting on reparations was a dumbass. Remember that? And no, it's not lost. It's not lost on me. Roland is considered this to be such a threat. He's considered me to be such a threat in particular. And let's be very, very clear. It's not Roland Martin talking. That's the Democrat Party talking. The Democrats sent him out. I did my video about him and Gary Chambers. I'm under no illusions. The video that I did where Roland Martin was talking about Gary Chambers down there in Louisiana. And Gary, who is trying to position himself to be the Stacey Abrams of Louisiana, because that's the new grift now. That's the new hustle. Claim that you're running for office when really all you're trying to do is galvanize the vote. Show the Democrats that you are effective at galvanizing the vote. And then that will encourage them to give you more goodies and give you a favored nation status. Look no further than, if you want to, right here on Twitter, you all can go look up the Gwinnett Democrats. They've only got a couple of thousand followers. You all can look it up on Twitter here. The Gwinnett Democrats. And go take a look at their flyer. Talking about folk needing to get elected. It's only got 3 faces on it. The white dude, Raphael Warnock. Now, both of them are running for Senate. And there's got Stacey Abrams' face up there. Stacey ain't running for nothing. Not even exercise. But it's got her face up there. Come join them in a luncheon or something is what it was for. We're going to have a get together. The white dude's running. The black dude's running. Stacey Abrams is going to be present for reasons unknown. But we all already know what it is. Her job is that she understands she's really not electable. So what she's going to try to do is, I position myself as being able to galvanize the black vote. That's the value I bring to you. I deliver the black vote. And that is what the old black media has become. They have become nothing but a shameful, reprehensible, broke down Sanford and Son pickup truck for the purposes of delivering the black vote to the Democratic Party. Now, let me be very, very clear. I'm not in favor of anybody delivering the black vote to anyone. If you want to discuss black people's issues, let's discuss that. But don't sit up here and tell me that illegal aliens, supporting illegal aliens is a black issue. Don't tell me that LGBT is a black issue. Don't tell me that climate change is a black issue. Or bringing over Ukrainian refugees is a black issue. And the old black media has been completely, I can't even say co-opted because they sold their souls a long time ago. They're not co-opted. And I know what I'm doing right now is very, very scary. This is very, very scary. I can hear it right now on Twitter. Oh my God, he sounds so angry. Oh, he sounds so angry. Because if a Negro doesn't sound like he's inebriated or intoxicated or sedated, then that's threatening. It's not good if you don't sound like you're sedated. So I'm supposed to be sitting here talking about black people's life and death and our very survival. But I got to say, well, you know, I mean, it's, what's good for the Democrats isn't often good for black people, you know. And we really should have a chance to discuss this, and because these are important issues. Man, damn that. I'm sounding the alarm. Because you've got these Silicon Valley companies, these major companies that are sitting here promoting all of this to no end while they suppress the black media. Let me be very, very clear to you all. Let me explain something to you. In my YouTube analytics, YouTube does not share my posts with anybody. They don't share my videos anywhere except with other people in the new black media, and that's it. But they really only share my videos either on, on that column next to the videos that says recommended or suggested. YouTube doesn't do that. There are many of you who are subscribers of mine on YouTube. They don't let you know when we're on. They don't let you know when we're broadcasting. They don't notify you when we're on. They hide it 30 or 40 places down. They bury it on the timelines. Now, Bowling Ball Martin, he's abusing the system all over the damn place. He's uploading the same damn video 3 and 4 times a day, which is why his subscriber count looks large. And then you take a look at his viewer count and it's like, oh, hell, 5,000 views. How you got 800,000 subscribers and 5,000 views? But that's the game. They are always on the lookout for individuals who are actually going to talk to the people about what they really need, not people who are trying to deliver a vote or deliver a faction or sell advertising. My YouTube channel is demonetized. Well, it's demonetized for me. It's not demonetized for YouTube. They're still running ads on it, but I don't get anything from that. And that should be illegal, by the way. It probably is illegal. So there are lawsuits out there, but that's illegal. But the bottom line is the old black media is getting help left and right from Twitter and YouTube and Facebook because they know their goal is to give disinformation, propaganda, to mislead the people, to tell you that we need to be worried about feminism, LGBT, illegal aliens. We need to be worried about that. We need to be worried about helping every other group except our own. And even when we talk about reparations among black people, then they want to tell you, oh, we need to be worried about everybody. That's what they come in to do. We need to be worried about everyone. So I came here tonight. I know it kind of seems like I just came on a general rant, but I came here tonight to ask this question because I know it might seem a little esoteric and it might seem a little off the beaten path. Let me be very, very clear. It's not. YouTube took down my video. I can't really say took it down. They hid the video. The one that I did about Roland Martin and Gary Chambers, because what I explained to people is, by the way, if you go take a look at the campaign finance records, Gary Chambers would have you believe that he's a serious candidate for Senate. Then you go take a look at the man he's running against, John Kennedy. John Kennedy has $11 million in his campaign account. Gary Chambers, as of the last reporting period, has $0. Not a penny. None. And I said that in my video. And I said, you can't take a person seriously when they're talking about they're running for Senate. They're up against somebody who's the incumbent has $11 million in the bank, and he's got $0 in a bag of weed. He's obviously not running for Senate. What is he running for? Since he is so obviously not running for Senate, what is Gary Chambers actually running for? So what they do is they put individuals who are not going to be elected, and they make those the mouthpiece to talk about white supremacy, systemic racism. They really take it to the police departments and the real white supremacists. That's their job, is to mention the white supremacists by name. Yeah, but you're not going to get elected. The folks who are going to get elected are going to tell us that a woman who doesn't even know how to define what a woman is going to be black people's representative. That's what those folks are telling you. We need to be worried about that. So the old black media has become a repository for delivering the black vote to a political party, to ignore black people's issues and to tell black people that whatever this political party wants, this eclipses and overshadows whatever agenda you think you have for yourself. So no wonder Joe Biden can sit here in a group in front of the Congressional Black Caucus and tell them you need to be worried about what Hispanics want. Has he ever gone in front of Hispanics and told them you need to be worried about what black people want? No. And now that the political wheels are coming off of Biden's wagon, you're now seeing them try to change the subject yet again. And the reason for that is because the new black media, those of us who, despite being hidden by these internet companies, despite them attempting to suppress us, we've still been able to punch through and still been able to touch the national psyche, despite their efforts to suppress us. To the point that now the old black media occasionally adopts our vernacular. Yeah, but they don't adopt the agenda. They sit up here, they'll say the word white supremacy every once in a blue moon and then tell you the way to beat white supremacy is by supporting illegal aliens, LGBT, feminism, and whatever else the Democrats come up with this week. But that's how you beat white supremacy. Oh yeah, and you don't need reparations. And if you do want reparations, we should have reparations for everybody. So in other words, we're all in favor of change so long as nothing ever changes. And that's where we are now. However, I do want to make this an opportunity for you all to weigh in. I know I've been ranting for a while here, but if anyone wants to weigh in on that, you can go ahead and raise your hand and we'll bring you to the forefront here. Don't raise your hand if you do not wish to speak. If you don't want to speak, don't raise your hand. I'll kick you out. I'm asking the question, does the old black media represent black people? Ebony, Jet, The Griot, The Root, Roland Martin, BET, as it were, TV One, News One. Does the old black media represent black people? I don't know if they ever actually did. I don't know if they ever actually represented anything. But I'm asking you, what do they represent now? Let me go ahead and, okay, I click to allow Shanette. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
No, I don't believe those old black media represent black people. I believe that they care more about their pockets than our pockets, meaning our as black people, black American people. I think people like Roland Martin, Al Sharpton is more, or even for the NAACP, where is the actual substantial work that would used to be put behind the NAACP? Now it's just about their pockets, not ours.
Well, I'll go even further than that. Even if they never passed a piece of legislation, even if you never put a white supremacist police officer in prison, even if you never did any of that, your media is supposed to at least speak to your issues. When they are in front of people in positions of power, they're supposed to be speaking unapologetically your issues. And that doesn't cost you anything. The only reason you would refuse to invoke or bring up our issues is if you're against it. But you don't have to get a piece of legislation to do what we did with Kamala Harris. You don't have to do that. Number one, when you went to YouTube and typed in the words Kamala Harris black vote, it made it through a loophole there. And that my video was the first one that came up. YouTube went to work suppressing it. They pushed it down to number 3 and then eventually dropped it out of the top 10, but not before the damage was done. And people were asking serious questions. When you went to YouTube and typed in Kamala Harris black vote, my video was what came up first. Next thing you know, it was over for her. Yeah, because you had black people saying what they really thought and you couldn't get around those issues. Charlemagne follows up. That's very, very nice. They've been following up behind our work for years. Let's be very, very clear. They're not the catalyst for it following up behind us, because after the disgraceful show that they had with Hillary Clinton in 2016, black folk got real issues going on out here. Zimmerman's walking the streets, and you talking about damn me hot sauce with Hillary Clinton. And Roland Martin is sitting up here literally buck dancing and saying that they represent black people. We took that to task. The next thing you know, there was no more dancing and buck dancing, no more hot sauce. Next thing you know, they're asking Kamala Harris substantive questions. And all it took was 2 questions and she was done. Where you stand on reparations? Oh, no. Just for black people? No. Well, I can't just do something just for black folks. And that was it. And that was all it took. If this had been happening decades ago, we wouldn't be in this situation now, because they would have had to do a whole lot more before then. They've been allowed to ignore our issues, and that's malfeasance. I'll let you have the last word. Okay, Shanette's had the last word. Well, definitely, like I say, these individuals have their media apparatuses here for years, and their job has been to deliver the black vote. If anybody else wants to speak, you can go ahead and raise your hand, by the way. Their job has been to deliver the black vote. And in this new space, they found themselves to be big, clunky elephants, which is why they need that. Understand something. I don't have advertising contracts with, big corporations or anything like that. We get it from the soil. We get it directly from the people. We get it from the grassroots. We have to come up with innovative, creative ways of promoting ourselves. We have to do that. These other folk get huge assistance. They get preferential treatment. They get discriminatory treatment. And that's what they have to, they are part and parcel of the white supremacists because that's the only way that they could ever survive. They couldn't actually survive on their own. The Root and the Griot, Bowling Ball Martin, they can't survive on their own. If they had to actually get it from the people and had to actually make it by themselves, they could never survive because they don't represent the people. Because the people have had every opportunity to show they do and they don't. That's why you have to have some rich benefactor come along and dump money into these things. That's why you gotta have a Byron Allen come along and dump money into the griot. You have to have that because otherwise this thing couldn't make it on its own. If they had to actually survive off of their own receipts. But why is that? They can't make it off their own receipts because they don't actually represent anybody. What we've been sold is this lie that